This is me. Ever since I was young, I had an interest in cars. I used to go to local car meets and events with my dad. Then, when I passed my driving test, my love for cars and the scene grew much bigger, and I found myself getting more involved. Creating a car club has welcomed me more into the culture, and I'm very passionate about it. The car culture can be an inspiring community, always offering to help one another build the cars they love. But it can also be very competitive and judgmental. With the progression of social media usage, I believe that the community has lost the true meaning of being a car enthusiast. My mission is to sit in the driver's seat and see what the car community was like before social media came about and how things have changed. To do that, I've decided to interview admins of Eurocartel, Jonesy and Chuff, and Danny Allen, who's been part of the VW scene since the 90s. I started by asking them their opinion on the modified car community within social media.
With social media, with Facebook, Instagram, whatever else you got, just want that instant 4,000 likes for something that they've got, whereas they've got it, they haven't done it.
Yes.
They've been out and bought something. You know, anyone can buy a set of rotor-forms or set of air ride suspension, but you're not building a car, you're just putting bits together.
Yeah, it's the saying, isn't it? Build, not bought, or something.
You're buying a Lego kit, you're not creating a Lego kit.
Yeah.
In some ways, it's really good. It's really good because to organise something, obviously, certain meets and stuff where there's lots of numbers in public places, you have to be careful about advertising that and get police attention or whatever. There's a lot of arguing, bitching that goes on, which has always gone on, but more in the forum days.
Yeah,
it was a bit
keyboard
different.
warriors, isn't it?
There's a lot of people that are quite happy or quite comfortable giving people grief over Facebook, knowing that they're miles away from that person and they're not likely to get a punch in the mouth for it. Back in the day when we were all meeting up, looking back to Power Star in a car park, it would be a little different angle because the person was stood in front of you and stuff. And
I just think like social media, so everyone has an opinion, and social media, like you said, keyboard warriors, it just welcomes them to have the guts to kind of say what they feel, when actually it doesn't really matter, does it?
I'd quite happily, if someone badmouthed me on social media, I'd quite happily see him at a show and knock him out.
I went to my first Volkswagen show in 1989, and then you've got a magazine every 2 months at Volkswagen magazine.
That's all you get.
Yeah, so that was the only, you got maybe Volkswagen and I think VW Motoring. The excitement of walking into WH Smith's or Hannay's or wherever it's other magazines back then, picking up Volkswagen and going, wow, look at that, has gone because of social media. Yes, I was still in edition 38. In 2002, I debuted the Mark 1, and that was the Club GTI show, which was called GTI International. At the time, GTI International was the biggest show in Europe. So if you won GTI International, you were considered to have the best car in Europe. I turned up with my little orange Mark 1 that I built in a garage on my own that nobody knew about, because if you go back to 2002, there was no social media. You didn't have Facebook, you didn't have Instagram, you didn't have build threads. Anyone that was building a car was building it at home, and only their mates knew what was building, and it was great.
Yeah, no.
Because you turned up, you didn't know what was coming, so you turn up at a show, and you'd look at someone and go, fucking hell, look at that! Oh, fuck, someone's done that, someone's done this, and and the first time we saw a 20-valve turbo Mark 4 Golf engine in a Mark 1, no one knew what the engine was, because you hadn't seen 4,000 pictures of it on the internet.
No, exactly.
And it's probably Edition 38's fault. It's probably our fault, because we started the forum, and we got into social media, and that was sort of part of the look at us, look what we're doing. And then because we had a build thread section, all of a sudden everyone started putting their build cars on, going, oh, this is what you can do. And we turned up, rolled into the gate with it, and the car got mobbed, and it was unbelievable. I felt like a rock star.
Yeah, no.
It was really, really weird. I'd never ever experienced it.
Is that up there?
The
one in the back.
The one in the background, yeah.
Oh wow.
We never did it for the ego.
No.
We did it to build cars. We didn't do it like, you look on Instagram now and you've got people going, look, I've painted a wheel nut, I've done this. And that's all bollocks. You don't do it for attention, you do it for cars.
Yeah.
And it was purely about the cars. It was purely about what's the next stupid thing we can do that no one's done.
Social media has brought the opportunity to expand the community, but also welcomes keyboard warriors. We then got chatting with them about where it all began for them as car enthusiasts and what encouraged them to start their own car clubs.
I was what they deemed as a boy racer, and I'm proud of it. I loved it. It was great. It was you know, everybody would be meeting up on a Friday, Saturday night after work, and that's all you did really. And it was Saturday afternoons were all about getting the cars ready for Saturday night. We'd end up at Weston-super-Mare, we'd end up Bristol City Centre racing around.
So I was a little bit younger, but I was going along to a lot of this stuff, the same stuff with my older brother, as a passenger more so at that point. And it's the same thing. It's, you know, even just my older brother and his mates meeting locally in a number of cars, just for, you know, just literally meeting up and spending a lot of time just in the car with mates and just being around. You know, and there was a lot of talk, a lot of meeting up to talk about what you're going to do next to your car, and each other getting a little bit more involved in
definitely.
what you'd done the week before to change your car and modify it and stuff. A lot more hands-on modification stuff I remember. Than I feel there is now.
I was a 14-year-old kid, got picked up by 2 random black geezers in a camper and taken off to a car show. And I had no idea who these guys were. They were mates of my dad's, and I was like, all right, let's go. And it was the first time I ever see a Beetle do a wheelie, and just walking around this car show on my own at 14, it was like, fuck, this is what I want, this is what I want to do. So I ended up hanging around in town with the boy race a lot, because I couldn't afford a Beetle, I had a Golf, blah, blah, blah. Ended up buying a Beetle. Stayed mates with Nigel, how old are we now? Old.
Yeah.
35 years nearly. You know, and it was just being around the right group of people. Back in, must have been 1999, I started hanging around in Northampton with some guys from a company called Premier Vehicle Services. It was a guy called Steve Denton, Bill Lorraine and Dave Lorraine, who was obviously Bill's son. And through that I met a couple of guys called Carl and Ben Taylor from West London. And we just started hanging around together at shows. You know, we'd meet up at shows, hang about. We'd drive over to Park Royal for what was the West Side VW meet originally, before West Side had their own show. Started going to Germany. We were one of the first groups of English people to ever go over to Wörthersee back in 2001, I think. And then in June 2001, we'd taken a load of show cars to another show that doesn't exist, but it was called the VW Forum show in Castrol in Germany. 4 of us drove over there, and it was like nothing we'd ever seen. Well, we thought we were building good show cars in England, went to Germany and we're like, yeah, our cars are shit. Came back from there, decided we would build a few quite mad cars. So, Drunk in a Pub, we come up with name edition 38, which came from 1938 being the year the cornerstone was laid at the Volkswagen factory in Wolfsburg.
That's awesome.
And the edition bit was a word that Volkswagen have used for years. I mean, you get the G60 limited editions, the edition blue, the Fire and Ice edition, and it felt right.
Yeah,
you know, there was 9 of us sat around a table drunk, and that was it. That's where it came from.
So we were part of other clubs, and the other clubs, like I say, we've met loads of great friends through those other clubs and forum chat and all of that stuff. But the other clubs just weren't doing what we wanted to do with it and take it in the direction we wanted to. And we part of a couple other clubs, local clubs, and we even offered to have a more active role and say, look, we're willing to organise this and organise that and get involved. And they weren't the kind of guys running the club didn't want that. They wanted to do their own. That's absolutely fine. So we decided to go off and set up our own club.
We went and sat in a pub, didn't we?
We went and sat in a pub and
this is rubbish. Let's go and do our own thing because it's a really good idea.
Yeah. We've always wanted a real family vibe about it. We've both got children. A lot of our members haven't, but some of them have, and some of them have grown up now to have children whilst being members. And we always wanted a real family vibe, and we've always had we wanted a big focus on the people.
Yeah, it didn't matter if you were driving a 1000cc Polo or a Golf R.
No, exactly.
As long as you enjoy driving it, it doesn't matter.
So when we were in the pub talking about the club,
because the pub's a good place to talk.
We were trying to come up with a name, and it was basically we're mainly into our VW stuff, but we like most anything with wheels really.
Yeah, pretty much.
But we at the time and still we mainly own VWs, and it was kind of the Euro mark stuff more so than Jap or the other brands, whatever.
Getting drunk in a pub and creating a club isn't all that the car enthusiasts get up to. Friendships made through common interests are treasured alongside the love of the cars. That's why I'm so involved with this community.
I went a bit overboard. I mean, I spent 45 grand on that car, but I've had it 20 years. I've had 18 magazine features with it, won 70 something trophies, and it's the best advert for my business I could ever have.
Yeah,
And I don't advertise.
Yeah.
You'll never see a Dubs by Dan advert. You'll see a bit on Facebook and a bit on Instagram, but I don't need to advertise because of that car. I've done what I set out to do. I wanted to prove to myself, I built a few show cars, but I wanted to prove to myself I could build my dream, and that little orange car is my dream, and it's never going to be for sale.
Our cars are generally our kind of go-to headspace. So
Yeah.
when stuff's going wrong, we generally get out in the car and go for a spin and just get half an hour away from everything. Or as Jonesy likes, go down the training state and practice his launch starts for the next
For
track
next
day.
drag meet, yeah.
But it's generally our kind of go-to headspace, and he didn't have that because his car wasn't running, and he wasn't well enough to get fully into what was going on with
No.
it and stuff, and take it apart and get underneath it and stuff. So
I was going down a nice lovely stretch of road and, you know, hitting the speed limit, and then it just
died.
didn't like it, and it got all angry, and it started leaking oil everywhere. So I took it home, I put it in the garage, walked away from it, went and had a McDonald's, because that seems to make things right. And then a week later, I was working on it late and didn't feel too good. Then got rushed by hospital by my best mate because he's quicker than an ambulance, and found out that I've got
Legally.
yeah, I've got a lump in my bowel that was causing my bowel to rupture.
Just on the quiet, complete secret, I managed to get Jonesy's wife involved because there were some parts that he'd already started to take off the car, and then he took them home, so we didn't know where they were. So I enlisted the help of two other club members, John Sheehan and Jake Barnes, because it was down. The car was in our unit, and we kind of said to Jonesy's wife, try and stop him from going down there.
Which is quite difficult.
Yeah, because obviously he would just pop in and have a look at it.
Yeah, just go down, take the cover off it, look at it, and put it back on again.
So yeah, we had like 4 or 5 nights of going down to the three of us going down to the unit and taking the car apart and fixing it and putting it back together, really.
Test 1, fire and hold.
Jake took it into work for an MOT and we got that sorted,
Yeah,
all MOT'd and stuff, and then we kind of did a little bit of a car SOS kind of sting on it, and there's a few videos there of us giving it back to you as a surprise.
well, I was sitting there and I was going to Manda, I was going, he won't bring his car out in this, you know what, it's raining. He don't bring his car out when it's got oxygen in the air. And I'm stood out there, I struggle daily to sort of move, everything seizes up. I'm stood out there, I was like, better hurry up, it's raining. And I'm videoing it and I'm thinking, his car's got loud. His car ain't that loud. And then I come round the corner and it was mine, and yeah, it upsets me now.
Yeah.
Just,
In a good way.
yeah. Just can't ask for 3 better people in my life. Don't know what I'd do without them.
From these interviews, I've learned that social media has its benefits to connect the car community together online. There are also some negatives, where some people get a bit caught up with that media fame and forget the true meaning of being a car enthusiast. Catch us in the driver's seat, where next time we find out who's really behind those boy racers.